We suspected it was bad, but we didn't know it was personal. T.J. Houshmandzadeh trains half the wide receivers in the NFL. He knows what happens in those locker rooms. And last night, he decided to spill the tea on Kevin Stefanski. According to TJ, multiple Browns players told him that Stefanski didn't just think Shedeur wasn't ready. He resented him. TJ said, "They told me Stefanski would mock the watch. He would mock the Prime brand. And when Sunday came, he called plays that he knew Shedeur couldn't execute just to prove a point." This explains everything. It explains the sacks. It explains the bad routes. It explains why the team gave up on the coach. I'm going to break down the specific game TJ is referencing where the sabotage was undeniable. Subscribe and hit the bell right now. If you want to know the truth about the war inside the Browns building, click that button. Let's listen to Housh. Here is the story Kevin Stefanski didn't want you to hear.
A super quick follow-up on that. Why wouldn't you, just to see if it does anything to the offense, give him an opportunity to go in there and play?
Yeah, obviously my focus is where we are right now, Mary Kay. That's not my focus.
Everyone knew the situation in Cleveland was bad, but nobody realized just how sinister it actually was until now. We aren't just talking about a coach making bad play calls or a team struggling to find a rhythm. We are talking about what looks like the deliberate, systematic sabotage of a franchise quarterback. T.J. Houshmandzadeh has just dropped a massive bombshell that completely changes how we view Kevin Stefanski's firing. According to T.J., this wasn't about football performance. This was about a personal vendetta, a deep-seated dislike, and a refusal to let a young star shine. If you thought you knew why the Browns cleaned house, think again. The truth is much darker, and it starts with a coach who decided his rookie quarterback was never going to see the field, no matter the cost. T.J. Houshmandzadeh didn't mince words when he peeled back the curtain on what was happening behind closed doors. The headline here isn't just that Stefanski didn't play Shedeur Sanders. It's why he didn't play him. According to TJ, Stefanski simply didn't care for the kid. From the moment Shedeur arrived at the facility, the energy was off. You usually expect a head coach to embrace a high-profile rookie, to nurture that talent, and to build the offense around them. But in Cleveland, the opposite happened.
Play. It seems as if he didn't care for him. Go through so many circumstances just to get on the field.
It seems Stefanski had it out for Shedeur from day one. TJ revealed that the coach put the quarterback through unnecessary hurdles and circumstances just to get a look. This goes beyond tough coaching. This paints a picture of a man who was personally offended by Shedeur's presence. When a coach's focus shifts from winning games to suppressing a specific player, you have a recipe for disaster. TJ made it clear. This animosity was the driving force behind the team's collapse. It wasn't that Shedeur couldn't play. It was that his own coach was actively rooting for him to fail. But if you think a personal grudge is bad, wait until you hear exactly how Stefanski manipulated the practice squad to keep Shedeur on the bench. The most damning part of this exposure is the lack of opportunity. In the NFL, practice reps are like gold. It's how you learn the speed of the game, build chemistry with your receivers, and gain the trust of the coaching staff. TJ pointed out something that should alarm every Browns fan. Stefanski wouldn't give him the reps. We are talking about a team with a solidified Hall of Fame starter, where the rookie has to wait his turn. The Browns had absolutely no answer at the quarterback position. The room was a mess. The offense was stagnant, and yet the door remained shut for Shedeur. TJ, who played this game at an elite level for a long time, said he had never seen anything like it. When a team is desperate for a spark, they usually throw the rookie in to see what happens. You give them a shot to energize the offense. But Stefanski refused. He wouldn't even open the door a crack to see if Shedeur could fix the offensive woes. It was a stubborn, illogical refusal to utilize the talent on the roster. It raises the question, was Stefanski trying to protect the team? Or was he trying to protect his own ego by proving a point that Shedeur wasn't his guy? And the disrespect didn't stop at the depth chart. The way Stefanski spoke, or didn't speak, about his quarterback was even worse. The verbal disrespect is where this story goes from professional mismanagement to straight-up insult. TJ alluded to a sentiment Stefanski held that Shedeur was essentially Magic City parking lot material, implying he viewed the quarterback's skill level as absolute garbage. Whether he thought Shedeur was straight cheeks or just didn't like his personality, the result was the same: a total lack of respect. Imagine being a young player trying to find your footing in the league, and the man in charge of your career thinks you're a joke. It went so deep that there were moments Stefanski wouldn't even mention Shedeur's name in press conferences or team settings. It was like he was trying to ghost his own player. This is a psychological tactic designed to make a player feel small, isolated, and unworthy. TJ highlighted that this wasn't just about harsh criticism, it was about erasure. By refusing to acknowledge Shedeur as a viable option, Stefanski was signaling to the rest of the team and the media that this kid didn't matter. It was a public humiliation campaign disguised as coaching decisions, and it created a toxic cloud over the entire organization. This behavior naturally bled into the locker room, creating a divide that TJ saw coming a mile away. What makes TJ Houshmandzadeh's comment so powerful is that this isn't just hindsight. He was calling this out while it was happening. He saw the favoritism. He saw other players getting opportunities they hadn't earned while Shedeur rotted on the sidelines. TJ warned everyone that if this perception of bias continued, it would cost Stefanski his job. And he was 100% right. You cannot lose the locker room and expect to keep your headset. When players see a coach making decisions based on feelings rather than facts, the trust evaporates. TJ noted that the favoritism was visible to anyone paying attention. It wasn't subtle. It was a glaring issue that screamed, I am putting my personal feelings above the success of this franchise. That is the cardinal sin of coaching. The writing was on the wall for months. The losses were piling up, the offense was unwatchable, and the solution was standing right there on the sideline, wearing a headset instead of a helmet. The organization eventually had no choice. They had to choose between a coach with a vendetta and the future of their team. But now that Stefanski is gone, we have to look at the wreckage he left behind. We have to be honest about Shedeur's performance this season. It wasn't good. But TJ's revelation completely changes how we should analyze that failure. When a quarterback looks lost, we usually blame their preparation or their talent. But how can a player prepare when the head coach won't give him reps? How can a player have confidence when the leader of the team treats him like he doesn't exist? The responsibility for Shedeur's struggles lies squarely at the feet of Kevin Stefanski. You cannot plant a flower in concrete and blame it for not blooming. Stefanski created an environment where failure was the only option for Shedeur. The psychological toll of knowing your boss wants you gone is immense. It impacts how you throw the ball, how you read defenses, and how you lead the huddle. The bust label that people were starting to throw around shouldn't be attached to Shedeur. It should be attached to the coaching staff that failed him. The development that should have happened in weeks 1 through 17 was stolen by a coach who prioritized his own grudge over the player's career. The firing of Kevin Stefanski was the only logical conclusion to this saga. The Browns organization finally woke up and realized that their head coach was the single biggest obstacle to their success. They saw the toxicity, they heard the whispers that TJ was broadcasting, and they pulled the plug. Justice has been served in that regard. The man who refused to play Shedeur is now out of the league, and the player remains. But the work is just beginning. The franchise now faces the monumental task of undoing the damage. They need to bring Shedeur back, not just physically, but mentally. They need to deprogram the doubt that Stefanski instilled in him, and give him the training, the reps, and the support he was denied all year. This story serves as a brutal reminder that in the NFL, a bad coach can destroy a career faster than a bad defense ever could. The Browns have a second chance to get this right, but they need to ensure the next person walking through those doors cares more about winning than settling personal scores.